906 Outdoors is brought to you by Cooking Wild Seasonings. Make it fresh, make it yours. He's an expert fly tyer, a master fly fisherman, a ski instructor, and a marathon runner. Join me for some time on the water with Arlen Sun. 9 million acres of forest, 1,700 miles of continuous shoreline, 4,300 lakes, 12,000 miles of streams, more than 300 waterfalls, 15 counties, 2 time zones, and 1 area code. Welcome to the Upper Peninsula. Welcome to 906 Outdoors. I first met Arlen Sun at a fly tying workshop a while back, and then at a fly fishing clinic, where I got a bit of instruction on the do's and don'ts of fly fishing.
And when that fish hits, bingo, you set him.
We met again, but this time in a much more special place.
This is a good brookie stretch right here. Always had good brookies right here.
100 yards of river that was special not so much for the fish that it held, but for the memories it held.
As one thing I really appreciate my parents. My dad had me fishing when I was 11 years old. Down here with a pair of old mining wading boots. hard rubber. But I'll tell you what, we had a lot of fun in this river. And today, just to come out here and catch a few of these little brookies is just all memories. Oh, there's one. Little brookie. Oh, come here, little guy. A little cute look. Got a little brookie, Ken. Don't want to hurt him. Just a little brookie. My favorite little Adams. That's a sweet little fish. Ha ha ha, we caught a fish. Didn't expect it. Our whole family was into fly fishing, and we all enjoyed the same thing. It was our cousin, when he came home from the Second War, that was an avid trout fisherman, and he got us started. And my son, I got him started early, so he's a good fly fisherman. Just a good family sport. On a rainy day, my uncle and my cousin, we'd go down to Wagner Creek with a little casting rod and just drop that angleworm into the foam and catch brook trout. And I'd like to go down there and see what that Wagner Creek is today, but I bet it's not any different than what it was when I was 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. But this is home. This is home to me. This is home to me. This river is, oh, I grew up on this river, I tell you. This was our favorite place to be all summer long. Remember one time Dad said, let's go down fishing before church. It was Sunday morning. Told Mom, we'll be back. We'll be back in time for church. We got down here, these fish were hitting. We didn't get home till 12 o'clock. We missed church that morning. But we worshiped right here. We had a lot of fun. Yeah.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Rapid River Knife Works, home of Michigan's largest custom knife factory showroom.
He took it the second time. Today, I am thrilled with what I have seen here. To see these little brookies feeding here today it sends chill bumps up my spine. I was raised in a logging camp. That my grandpa had a logging business, and then my grandpa bought the house that we're in today. I was 6 years old when we moved in there. And back then, when we were in the camps, of course, my dad wasn't even fishing in it. After the Second War, my cousin came home from the war, and he got my dad started fly fishing. And then my mom started. They had so much fun on the river. And then, of course, I got excited too, but I was pretty small. I'm pretty young, but he bought me a $6 bamboo from Montgomery Ward's, and I started fly fishing when I was 11 years old on this river, right where we're at right now. That's why I can come in here any given time and just think back of my childhood, the fun we had in here. Yeah, we don't need a net on that. I thought that other one was going to be a little bigger, but nice little brookie. Boy, that's a good sign note to see these little brookies. That is a good sign. We thought we had a winter kill. We didn't think we were going to have much, but right now to see these little guys is really good. My mom did all our tying. She only tied the Adams in different sizes. She tied the Betty. When things weren't surfacing, we could use the Betty, and the Betty is just an attractor. It was just like a Daredevil is to a northern. A Betty is an attractor for the trout. And yeah, she did all our tying. I've caught everything from a 21-inch brown to a 16-inch brookie. My dad caught a 25-inch brown right up here, right where we're heading right now. And he got that on a 12-inch, on a size 12 Adams. Back then, he was fishing with the Shakespeare Wonder Rod. It's a glass rod. Today we wouldn't. Well, I got them home yet, but I wouldn't use it. These graphite rods we've got today, you got such good action with them. The rod I got on right now, that I'm using right now, a good friend of mine made it for me. It's out of a Loomis blank. It's only 7'3", 2.5 ounce, and I can handle any size fish with this rod. It's just so smooth and so sweet to fish with. My line is a Cortland 444 double taper. Double taper means that when one end wears out, you can turn it around and you got double use. I've fished with weight forward, but I like this double taper. The modern technology of our equipment today is very easy to learn how to fish with, but you still got to have those hand-tied flies that'll last and they work. I'll guarantee any of my flies, when the right hatch is on. Right now we don't have a dominant hatch here today. Right now this Adams is just doing the trick. I started tying when I moved back home here 30 years ago. And my mom was still living, and she got me started. And I also took a fly tying lesson with Mac McDonald up at the West Iron, and Bud Van Wagner, master tyer. Bud is gone now, but he got me into the finer stuff and learning how to use the whip finish, and it just made it that much easier. Right now I'm tying about 45 different patterns. Gotten very well known just by the word of mouth. I've got guys coming from all over the country. They come up to the UP to fish these blue ribbon streams. And yeah, you know, when you tie your own flies and go out on the river and catch one, it gives you just the excitement that you can't express. Yeah. And I got a wife that loves to see me enjoy, and she likes fish, and she does a very good job. If I catch a big brown, she bakes them in, and they're very good eating. I probably release 80% of my fish, but I still like to eat a few. You bet.
Usually taking emergers. Come on, there we go. Not a big one. Just a little guy. There you go. Looks like about an 8-incher, 7-8-incher. Nice little guy. There you go. Quick release. Way I like it. Not hurt. He'll live for another battle when he gets a little bit bigger. A lot of people call us Mutt and Jeff. Me being about 6'4" and him being one of the smaller guys on there. But I tell you what, you can't keep up with him. I deer hunt with him. I do a lot of things with him. We go bluegill fishing and walleye fishing, whatever comes along. We like doing it together. So he's been a great friend for quite a few years. So I'm glad I ran into him up here on an ice fishing day, actually, out on catching some perch. And ever since that day, we've been buddies together for a long time. Yeah, he's quite the character.
80 years old, and I think I got at least 10 more years of good fishing in me yet, I hope. I'm also a runner, so I've been pretty active for the last 45 years. I've been running for 45 years. I've got 75,000 miles on my legs, and I don't regret ever starting doing that, because it's kept me in shape and I can wade these waters. There's a lot of guys younger than I am that can't wade these rivers today, simply because they're just not, they don't have the legs, they're not in shape. Yeah, I teach skiing at Ski Brule. Yeah, I've been doing that for about 35 years. I guess you just gotta make up your mind to exercise, stay young. You don't wanna quit, you don't wanna get old. Good home cooking and keep you going. You see these little brookies? This is the first brookies I've caught this spring. Got a little guy here. This is awesome. Really little guy. A little brookie. It gives me chill bumps. The excitement of seeing these little brookies. You know, just look at your scenery around here. Yep, there it goes. Yeah, that's good to see them. Oh, that's good to see them brookies. I'd rather catch a half a dozen of these little brookies than a big brown. Where the big browns will lay out here, this is all big rocks in here. Those big browns will lay right out here, and he's right in amongst and underneath and right tight side to those rocks. And you take your brookies will get in there and they'll lay right along those tag elders. Flip your fly out there, you want it floating about the same speed as the river is. So you watch it so that when it gets by a bubble, you want that fly floating about right alongside of that bubble. You don't want it to get any kind of a drag on it or get it going any faster than what the little foam is floating. That's to make it as natural as possible. The challenge is to outsmart that fish. Get that fly floating as natural as a live fly would float. And to get him to hit you, you feel like you've accomplished something by you fool that guy. You surprised him. And then when you get a big fish, and to play that fish, because you're dealing with a very light leader, so You can't horse that fish. You got to let him come in is natural, and you got to be very careful. It's just a big challenge. It's just a big challenge. It's not like going out on the lake trolling with a plug and catching and reeling them in. Fly fishing, it's an art. It's a great challenge to outfox that trout. Trout are very smart fish. That's why your fly's got to be floating as natural to the flow of the river and to the speed of the bubbles that are on the water, so it looks as natural as possible. Adams represents many different little mayflies. The color combination with the grizzly and the brown, that muskrat fur body. It's the only fly we ever fished with. Oh, there's one. I don't know if you notice when I get my fly out, little one, I start stripping right away. You got to keep that line pretty tight, not tight, but ready, so when one does hit, it's just a little snap of the wrist, and you got the fish. Because those trout, they just pinch that fly, and if they don't like it, they spit it. So you can't have a lot of slack line out there. Right now, I'm just fishing by random, just throwing it out. But if I get a rise, then I'll know exactly how I gotta do to get on them. Gotta lay that fly right over, about 6 feet above them. What we'll do is we'll put together a Adams, get a little base on here. The wings are off of a barred rock chicken. Now we go back and put the tail on, a mix of Rhode Island red and barred rock. This is muskrat dubbing for the body, the hackle, to keep them afloat. Barred rock and Rhode Island red. Now we put the brown through. Now I make a little head on it, finish it off. Head cement on her so she doesn't come apart. That's the hottest fly in my fly box.
906 Outdoors is brought to you in part by Blades Bait and Tackle, your year-round connection to fishing bait enoch.
I seen this happen with the nature about 25 years ago when I was working in the cities. I come home in July, and it was a brutal winter, and my dad and I had a ball all the way through July catching fish. And this year, I think it's going to be a duplicate of those memories. These fish are going to start coming alive right now, right on now, right through. What changes a river is what kind of winter you have and how long does it take to get those hatches out. This year, our brown drake hatch was like 3 weeks late, and I don't even think we're going to see a hex hatch this year. It's too late. Right now, the river is in probably as good a shape as it's going to be. This is perfect right now, just from what I experienced here today with these little brookies. You come out here in the evening now and fish into the dark, you're going to see some action on some bigger fish. Big browns don't generally feed too much during the day. They're night feeders. And the temperature right now is good. It's a little cool, but it's good for the river. Low water hurts the river. And this year we're not going to see that. We've got a lot of moisture. But I've seen the river gets down too low, then they migrate to bigger holes, and a little more difficult to get them then.
I'm guessing we've all got some special place. A place full of fond memories. Memories that started back when we were a kid. Might be a spot in the woods, a lake, or a small town somewhere. And that spot might change, but the memories never change.
You know, as we get older, the only thing that changes is us. The river don't change. The river's always the same. You got the same habitat. You got the tag elders and the rocks. The river don't change. This is what's so great to be a trout fisherman, is you can always come out and enjoy exact thing that you enjoyed when you were younger. Yep.
For Arlen, I'm pretty certain that special place is a river. This river.
This river is home. This is paradise. This is so relaxing. You get on the river, you lose all thoughts of what's going on in the world, and you're just out here enjoying nature. Yeah, this is home sweet home here.
A stretch of river can be a lot of things. It can be just that, a stretch of river. But it can also be a special place. Maybe a place where you caught your first fish, or maybe your biggest trout. A place where you spent your childhood days flipping over rocks looking for crayfish. Yeah, it can certainly be a place where memories are made. A day like today makes me think about where my special place might be, and if I'll be around to talk about it when I'm 80. I watched a lot of river go by without taking the time to stick my foot in. I think tomorrow, I'll go fishing.